Hi guys, and welcome back to our Twitter and YouTube video for today, the 21st of October 2025. So let's get into this watch list, what is on it and what is next, and how do we actually trade it this morning. So as you can see, NERV, we took this morning, entered around 9:41 AM Eastern Time, falling wedge breakout against 1-day resistance of 8, above on moving averages as you can see, and 8 to 8.3 area was the entry point, and my first target was around 8.8 on this one. NERV, so entered 2:41 for those in the UK. I'm in the UK, so I'm 5 hours ahead of the Eastern time zone. My stop loss is 7.36, never hit there, but we did hit first target and went past it ever so nicely and ran 55% of the remaining shares. As you can see though, I did actually look for a re-entry on this, so it's 2 wins on this, which isn't bad. So it's a falling wedge breakout against 1-day resistance on this one, against the resistance of 10. Entered here around 9:45. We double check. Yeah, 9:44, 9:45 on this. NERV 10 area. So when we broke on this candle here, 9:44, 9:45, this one, so on that candle there. And then, stop loss in this was 9.2, and we only came down to the low of 9.42. So we stayed in the trade despite this tricky wick-off accumulation, and then this one ran a decent amount to around, plus 23%, 22%, so not bad on that one. So 2 green trades. So obviously we traded this already. So what is next? So getting rid of this pattern here on the 1 minute time frame. I'm now going to the 5 minute time frame on this one. And we need to put in another falling wedge, but the 5 minute time frame now is with 25 minutes after market open. We need a break beyond 12.5 in my opinion for a push of plus 8% minimum. So if we do that, I'll be looking to relate it to the Discord for just a day trade on this one for 12.5, so that looks good. And again, it'll be above all moving averages, which is great to show the trend is strong. I'm going to turn them on like that, as you can see. So it looks good, just needs to break 12.5 for continuation of plus minimum 8%. So going to the 4 hour time frame now, we need a 4 hour green candle close over 12.5 in my opinion, because it just looks like we're rejecting from 12.5. So if we have a green candle engulfing all these resistances by either 1:30 today or 4 p.m, either is fine. We will see continuation over the next 2, 3, 4 hour candles, so the next day or so, if we were to get a 4 hour candle close over 12.5. It's a nice gap up from the chart, but until then it just looks like rejection, and we may have a bit of a tricky consolidation period until we break 12.5. So for a day swing or 1 or 2 day swing, I'll look for a 4 hour close over 12.5. And the daily is the same story really, just on the daily time frame. So we need a daily close over 12.5 because until then we're just rejecting from 12.5. And that's for continuation over the next few days. A daily candle close green over 12.5 for continuation. However, if we lose 8 on this, I do think we're done on the daily. I think this one will come back to where it came from, around 3 on this. Remember, it is just mainly a day trade for now, so you have to wait for the 4 hour and 1 day candle closes to occur. So that's going to continue that we spoke about. And if we lose 8, I think this one is done on the 1 day and the 4 hour time frame, definitely. And even the 5 minute, to be honest. I could give it a bit more time on the 5 minute. If we lose, I'll say 6 in the 5 minute, it's definitely done. But a 4 hour candle close below 8 or a daily close below 8, it's done. Just keep an eye on that 12.5 level. So that was NERV. Now let's look at VSEE. So I was watching this one. We did have a trade on this in live trading, which I didn't take. We just spotted it. It was basically the same again, falling wedge breakout against 1 day resistance for a day trade of 0.75 was a resistance, and it ran up about 20-30%, I want to say. 30%. So I didn't take this one. I already had 2 green trades, so no need to take any more. For this one, we need to get over $1 on VSEE. Again, for a day trade in the falling wedge, it needs to break $1 for continuation on this. So falling wedge breakout, break the dollar resistance, and then work your way up for a minimum of 8% for a first target. Sounds good to me. However, if we lose 0.6, I'm going to round this up, then this one is done in my opinion. If we lose 0.6, then it's going back to where it came from, around 0.5 area on this. So that's for a day trade, and for the 4 hour. So a 4 hour close over $1 would also be good by 1:30 p.m. Eastern time today, or 4 p.m. Eastern time, because not only would it be engulfing the $1 resistance, it'd also be engulfing the 200 exponential moving average and 200 simple moving averages here. It's currently just not only getting rejected from the $1 resistance, but also the 200 MA and 200 EMA around here. So we need to make sure it's not just a death cross retest on this. So there's your death cross on the 4 hour, and there's your retest of it, which we also did on the 16th, apparently. So we need to get a 4 hour close over $1 for continuation on this for the next 2 or 3, 4 hour candles, meaning a day or half a day or 2 days, around that sort of time frame. And the daily, to be honest, Need to get beyond 1.15 because you can get over $1, and then you've got resistance at 1.15 with a 200 simple moving average. So once you clear 1.15, you're coming towards 1.5 on this one, I would say, on the daily. So daily close over $1 isn't enough. We need a daily close over 1.15 to know it just doesn't reject from the 200 moving average like it did here on the 16th of October just a couple of days ago. So yeah, that's what we need. And if this one just loses, it's when it's a 4-hour or daily close below 0.75. Forget the rejection of the 200 simple moving average around here. It'd be a rejection of the 60 exponential moving average just here. So that's bearish, and we don't want to reject from a moving average just down at 0.77. We want to get beyond $1. But if we close below if we close below 0.75 on the daily or the 4-hour, this one is done. And for a day trade, if it closes below 0.6 in the 5-minute, we are done on that one. So keep your eyes peeled on that dollar zone. Look for an 8% first target, and keep that in mind about the 4-hour and the daily if you're in looking for a swing. So the big one here, Beyond Meat, BYND. Let's talk about this one. Filled its gap on the daily time frame, but we'll look on the day trading 5-minute time frame first. And we need to get a 1-minute candle. We need to get a 1-minute candle close beyond 2.5 for an entry on this one for a minimum plus 6% push up, in my opinion. It's a bit smaller in terms of the candle size, therefore the volume isn't as large in this one. Obviously, the volume in terms of read is large, but the actual momentum and volatility of the stock is low in terms of volume, in contrast to other stocks, as the candles are small. Larger candles, better to trade. Smaller candles, harder to trade if you want an 8% first target. Got 500 candles here, 3% inside, so you're going to be waiting ages for 8%. It's not what we want. So more volatility can come into this if we get beyond 2.5 on this. And again, if we break 2.5 in the 5-minute, I'd look for a 6% first target, just a 2% compromise from an 8% usual first target, because the candles are smaller and the volatility is less in this one, mainly because it's a crowded trade and lots of people are in it. The 4-hour, to be honest, it looks a complete mess. We've reclaimed the 60 EMA, this thick gold line here, which is great, which sits at 1.95, and we're above that, great. But we've got him rejected from 2.5, and we've got massive resistance. The 200, I'm guessing it's the EMA, 200 exponential moving average at 2.6, and 200 simple moving averages at 2.85. So if we break 2.5, we've got resistance at 2.6, then 2.85, all before the next 1-day resistance at 3. So yeah, it needs more volume and momentum, in my opinion. It's too risky, in my opinion. You can look at it for a day trade, but for a 4-hour time frame, in that sort of sense, it looks too risky. 4-hour close over 2.5 wouldn't look to trade it. I'd look for a 4-hour close over 3. Again, beyond all these temporary resistances, the two thick white lines there, the 200 EMA and 200 MA on that one. I would avoid it until it does that. And if it loses 1.95 on the 4-hour, it's done. It's coming back to $1. I think this one will consolidate though, for a little bit in between 1.95 and 2.5, unless more volume comes in, and we might get a bit of a larger 4-hour or 1-hour sort of technical breakout on that one. So I'd avoid it until it has a 4-hour close over 3 on that one, or just look for a day trade now over 2.5. Daily time frame. So we've got the 4-hour resistances. The daily time frame, there's no resistances here, so daily close over 2.5. You can't really trade it because the risk is too high, in my opinion. There's no resistance between 2.5 and 3 on the daily, but the 4-hour, there's lots of headache and head hitting room at 2.6 and 2.85. So it's not going to be a clear, smooth trade. So I would avoid this one for a swing as it stands, personally, until it breaks 3. You can start to look on this one. But for a day trade, it looks great over 2.5. And basically, just expect us to consolidate either between 1.95 and 2.5 on this one. And yeah, breaking beyond 2.5 might be a bit tricky to get towards 3 on this one. I'd avoid it for a day trade for a couple. I'd avoid it for a swing trade for a couple more days and see how it looks later, and see if we clear that 2.5 and what it looks like from there. And yeah, if it loses 1.95, it's coming back to where it came from, in my opinion, on this. So yeah, that's BYND and all the others, NERV and NERV. So yeah, VSEE, NERV and BYND. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you write these notes down and have a green trade from what we've analysed here. And if you're interested for these great calls that we have in the Discord, as you can see, alongside calls from Fox, Phoenix for day trades, 4 types of options, and then swings as well from 2 swing traders who produce around 10 swings a month. Feel free to give us a look. The link in the video description or in our Twitter bio. So thanks guys, and catch you all later.